Welcome to CPG Vibes. No scripts,
just chat.
I'm Alex Baer.
And I'm Wade Yenny.
Each episode is recorded live, and we talk all things food and beverage, and so much more.
Feel our vibe and search for CPG Vibes on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and make sure to give us a 5-star review.
If you'd like to sponsor our show with your product or service, email us at cpgvibes100@gmail.com.
Now, let's vibe.
All right, welcome to episode 133 of CPG Vibes. Hello to everyone on this fine Friday, anyone in Los Angeles or California, actually I think around the country. It's a big heat wave, so hope everyone is doing well and staying cool. Wade, how's it going, buddy?
Well, aside from near catastrophic technical difficulties, I'm doing pretty well. I was worried that you were going to have to tap dance or something there, or have our guest be the co-host, but we restarted, rebooted, and it appears all systems go. But I'm doing good. It is actually not hot and humid here. It's been cool in the mornings, down to mid-50s, and currently 79 degrees, so it's very, very nice.
How the tables have turned, where
That's right.
Out here in California, it is humid. It feels like North Carolina or the Southeast or Florida. Right here, I'm in the city of Pasadena. As you can tell, I'm on the road right now. We're in a undisclosed location, as Wade says, and open the car door, and it's like an oven, just heat hitting your face. And it's I think it's 97 right now in Pasadena.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, so it's pretty intense out here. So a couple laundry list items we're going to go through, and we're super excited because our weekly sponsor is Powerful Energy Distribution with Robert Cogan. He's the Canadian. He's the man that can in Canada. Can't spell Canada without can. So he's going to be coming on at the 35-40 mark here to talk about what he's up to. So thank you, Robert and PFE, for sponsoring this week's episode of CPG Vibes. And then we have our ongoing sponsors as well. But before I mention that, just a reminder, we're the number one rated CPG podcast in the world. If you'd like to give us a rating, please go to Apple Podcast. Just click our beautiful faces, scroll to the bottom, and give us 5 stars. Second, we have sponsorship block rates as well. If you'd like to sponsor the show, just like Robert and PFE has done, he's done several episodes, and he has several more. We have block rates, and we have, I think, Wade, almost nothing left, 2 or 3 episodes that are open for sponsorship before the end of the year. So it's very, very tight. So if you'd like to grab that, and if you're a first-time sponsor, it's a discount of $350, which is great. And you can sponsor up to 5, I think up to 10, actually, episodes if you wish. I also want to mention one other interesting thing. We're going to have a contest running. A contest. It's called Rate CPG Vibes Contest. We're going to post it next week on LinkedIn. So if you give us a 5-star rating and post a screenshot of that, you can enter into a lottery to be selected to appear on our show for no cost. So as a featured guest. So make sure to look out for that. It was Wade's idea, not mine. I'm not smart enough to come up with ideas like that. He's all the brain power. I'm just the looks here on this show. So look out for that on, I think, Monday or Tuesday. The image is hilarious, Wade. I made the image for the contest, so it's going to be pretty funny. We have our ongoing sponsors, which are My Way 3PL and Range Me. So first, My Way 3PL. My Way 3PL's logistics solutions were born from seeing all the pain points CPG brands go through with other logistics providers. With a solid foundation of proven results in cost savings and operational enhancement, they offer true balance of both strategy and execution. Partner with My Way 3PL to streamline your logistics and scale from small to large, or from large to even larger. Go to www.myway3pl.com/CPG Vibes for more information. You'll go to a landing page, mention CPG Vibes, and store your first pallet for the first month for free at their vast selection of distribution centers across the U.S. Again, myway3pl.com/CPG Vibes. Our second sponsor is Range Me. And a lot of people have already been with Range Me for years. You know, Jake, we had him as a stand-in co-host a couple weeks ago. They got into retailers because of Range Me. So it's an online platform. and it's the smartest way to get your brand in front of thousands of retailers. Experience always on-brand exposure, exclusive buyer discovery opportunities, and access to proprietary insights, research, and resources. With over 15,000 buyers, every time I say that, I can't believe it. It's amazing. RangeMe has 15,000 buyers to ensure continuous exposure to retail buyers. And Wade, check it out. I mean, you've shopped in most or all these stores: Target, Albertsons, Whole Foods, Sprouts, Publix, Kroger, Costco, Wegmans. Too many for two hands. Wegmans, H-E-B, Food Lion, Giant Foods, Fresh Market, and many, many, many more. RangeMe also has an eCRM category session delivery for exclusive live in-person events where you can meet directly with leading national and regional retail buyers for curated face-to-face meetings. Ready to elevate your brand? Visit rangeme.com/CPGvibes. And they also have discounts. So instead of $13.99 for their premium, it's at $9.99. Instead of $24.99 for their pro, it's $16.99. So rangeme.com/CPGvibes for that information. And then last but not least, before I take my big breath, we have powerful energy distribution. And look, I can't read from a direct script. Robert's a great guy. He knows Canada. He knows that area called the Horseshoe, I think the Golden Horseshoe, which is kind of in the Toronto area. And he has a ton of experience. He brings in emerging innovative brands that are already in the US into Canada. And he knows the retailers. He has the relationships. He works with brands like Purple Leaf Kombucha, Dope Coffee Company, Ground Up Eco Ventures, and he'll be attending the CHFA East Show, the Expo of Canada, September 21st and 22nd. He'll be talking more about that and the brands he represents. So I think that's it.
Good. This is where you take a breath, and I'll just talk for a second. How's that? Yeah, take a breath, get a drink,
an
get all that
oxygen
stuff.
machine. Here's
That's
my
right.
drink. There you go.
Exactly. So, and I know we have a couple things we want to touch on, but I wanted to touch on, it's been an interesting week. We had a great show last week recapping Newtopia Now, had a lot of positive feedback with that, and people enjoyed that content and just chatting about what's there. And a couple things. One, if you're tuning in for the first time, if it's been a minute since you've been on the show or listened to us live, we are, as Alex mentioned, sponsored this week by Powerful Energy and Robert Cohen, and he will be giving away a prize at the end of the show. So stay tuned for that. You want to stay for the whole episode. The prize will be given based on a question that we're going to ask, some content that we've talked about. So you'll have to pay attention. We'll ask a question, and if you get it right and you're the first one to answer, you win the prize. But yeah, Alex, what I wanted to touch on was, with Labor Day this week, it was a short week to begin with, and I think I talked a little bit about last week. I actually went to Chicago this week for a trade show, the GFI trade show, the Gourmet Foods International. So that was interesting. It was a wham bam. I didn't get time to connect with Kenny, who I was really hoping to be able to see while I was there, but I flew out Wednesday morning and hit the show, and I flew back Thursday morning and was back to work and hosted a masterclass for V-Driven yesterday, along with Jess Wendell from Maven Consulting. So less than 24 hours in Canada, so hopefully I get to see Kenny next time. But it's been a quick week. How about you with Labor Day and everything going on? Is it flown by for you?
Flown by is really an understatement. Someone is talking about light speed here, with RangeMe, light speed years ahead. It felt like light speed this week. I mean, Tuesday was kind of a catch-up day. A lot of people got back to the office. I noticed on Wednesday, and it was just Wednesday, Thursday, just really, really fast. I have to really give huge kudos to also V-Driven, right? You've heard of them, right?
Yeah, I hear the leader of business development and brand management is a great guy. But
Fantastic.
no, it's I have heard of them. Tell me, why do you have to give huge credit? What happened?
Yeah, and so for those that don't know, right, we're being facetious that Wade is that position. He's at V-Driven, loves being there, and we love V-Driven, right? And they were a sponsor for a long time on our show. But they have these cool programs. They have the bulk program at Sprouts, and then they also have this innovation pitch slam where he's inviting brands, and there's brands that will be flying out to Phoenix, Arizona, which is only 120 degrees. Luckily, it'll be indoors, not an outdoor event, to pitch Sprouts, the buyers at Sprouts, with innovation products, including cognitive brain health and lemon, those two, which are hot trending categories and always, they have been the last couple of years and continue to be. Lemon is always a favorite. So I love that Luke Abbott's doing this. I've seen his posts on LinkedIn about it. and it gives a cool kind of microphone to all these innovative brands that want to get out there in the market. And Sprouts seems to be really leading the charge now on innovation, on emerging brands, and giving them shelf space in their 400, 500 plus, 400 plus stores to shine and to get it in front of consumers. So I love that about what you guys are doing over there.
Well, I think, Sprouts, you mentioned the innovation piece with them is just so significant, and their willingness to do that for emerging brands. And, I just think, when you look in this, we hear all these things with costs and all these different things going on as far as the associations go, but to be able to get on a major retailer like Sprouts that quick, and for that trial and get out in front of people on, an off-shelf display essentially is what it amounts to. It's a big deal. So I love it, and it's as you mentioned, we have several coming up. We've done several already. We've got several in the pipeline that are happening. Next week is I believe is the lemon and the cognitive health. We have a bakery one coming up. We have a bulk candy coming up. So lots in the pipeline. It's just, as you mentioned, it's one of the reasons why I was so excited to join Luke and the team at V-Driven. It's outstanding. And just the hands-on approach with the brands we work with. I had an opportunity today to talk to a client last minute. It was actually right before the show, and fortunately for me, I had the flexibility to do that, but reached out to a couple of our team members that head our operations team. This client had questions about an upcoming presentation. Just like that, we had the operations people on the phone. It was so awesome. Literally just happened to see the team come together like that quick and be so supportive of the clients. And I think that's one of the things, in my opinion, that makes us different. So this is me wearing my salesman hat, Alex, is that hands-on approach with our brands as well as our retailers, and just really trying to be supportive on both sides of that, not just our brands, but also our retailers and being an extension of that. So it's just, all working together. It's really something special in my opinion.
Yep. So just give one last plug before we move on to our topics here for CPG Vibes. And we're going to do some shout outs here also for all these. There's a ton of comments coming in. If you're an emerging brand and you have something special, especially cognitive, especially if it's lemon based, reach out to Be Driven, because they have a direct access to Sprouts and getting in their headquarters. I think 120-degree weather, it's a sacrifice, but it's worth it to go out to Phoenix, get into an air-conditioned building and present to Sprouts. And you don't have to be a client, I don't believe, of V-Driven, right, to get into the pitch slam. So no, Luke is bringing in brands, whether you're with them or not, right?
Well, you don't have to be, but obviously we certainly encourage that, and certainly we'd like to be able to support you in that piece. But no, it's not a requirement as far as that goes. And just for some clarity, the lemon and the cognitive are closed. Those are happening next week. So those for that particular event are closed. Doesn't mean we can't get in an innovation set down the road. It's just for the actual pitch slam, those are filled up. Those got done pretty quickly. And you don't have to be there in person. Obviously, it's encouraged if it makes sense for you logistically and financially, but you can pitch virtually. So it's cool. Multiple ways to skin the cat, so to speak. Whether it's in person, whether it's via Zoom, working with us, not. It's just again, it's about being supportive with the community and helping our mission to help brands in the space. So awesome stuff, good stuff. I'm sure more pitch slams to come from V Driven and their partnership with Sprouts and other retailers as well. So we have two topics we're going to talk about. There's comments. We're going to read those in a bit. But we have two topics we're going to cover, which is brands to watch and fun stores to shop at and why. So brands to watch, and I've been messaging with Wade. We have this cool thing on StreamYard, right? With this our platform where I can message him privately to talk about things, or I can say, hey, Wade, stop smiling so much, or I can, whatever. We can communicate with each other about things we're doing, stupid things we're doing, great things we're doing. So with all that said, we have some brands that I really like that I want to share. And then Wade, I'm sure you have some as well. So I've been seeing this social tonic boom happening, right? So, and I'm not talking about, the products, there's like Athletic Brewing and there's Rationale and all these guys and hard kombuchas, June Shines and, Flying Embers. Those are just kind of like either hard kombuchas
or they're products that taste kind of like beer, but they don't have any alcohol in it. And there's been a kind of a pushback on alcohol, right, in recent years to get to drink something without alcohol, to be healthier. I like the brand's Brez. This is a CBD sparkling tonic. That's a social tonic, and they are one of the fastest growing social tonics online. I think they're at, something like 10 to 15 million in annualized revenue, and they've been in business for a year and a half. So that's Brez, B-R-E-Z, and we can find the link for that. The other one that I'm a big fan of, and I know, my friend here, we're at the formulator's house, she likes the product too, is Hyo. Hyo is another one. Really in love with that brand. I think they're doing all the right things, and I love the branding. They just launched in Whole Foods, at least in our region here in Southern California. And then we have Kin Euphorics. That's a third one that I really like. And if you have any other social tonics you guys love, post it here in the comments and we'll shout it out. On the cognitive side, right, we're talking about cognitive and Sprouts and what they're looking at this as this great retailer looking at emerging and innovation is Magic Mind. That's one I wanted to highlight. Have you tried Magic Mind, Wade? You recognize that?
Off the top of my head, I'm not sure. I have to pick it up. It's not ringing a bell, but that doesn't mean I haven't tried it.
Got it. So Magic Mind has matcha and it has nootropics. So they call it productivity shot. So, and they have that on the label. It's a very interesting bottle. They launched in Sprouts nationally. So they started out in their innovation and then they went over to the main set. And it has matcha. It has other like L-theanine and other active functional ingredients to promote focus, energy, and productivity, right? So I like that one. And the last one that I'll talk about is Nowhere Bakery, which is one of my favorite desserts with brownies, cookies, but a healthier version. But I wanted to pivot back. Did anything pop out of you, Wade? Any brands that in that category that you like? I'll hand it over to you.
Well, I have to be fully transparent, as I always am, that I haven't didn't have a chance to look at the comments in the chat that you sent me till you just said it. So I'm a little bit behind, nor with me being gone, did I have time ahead of time to prepare for our topics, which is no script, just chat.
For anything. Yeah.
And we really truly don't. And people think that's not the case, but it really is true. Well, I'll talk about a couple of the brands, not to get back on the V-driven horse, but a couple of brands that we've brought in recently. And this is one of our newest ones. I'll say it's not in the realm necessarily of what you're talking about, but it kind of is. It's worth talking about. This is one of the brands we literally just started working with, and this is a Michi mix. And what this is, it's very interesting. It's a michelada mix, which everybody, typically a traditional michelada, at least in the mind of most, is going to be clamato and a beer, or tomato juice in a beer. It's very popular in Texas and obviously Mexico. What's interesting about this particular ingredient, it has no tomato juice in it, which is, in my mind, I think most people, especially in this country, when they think of michelada, it's tomato juice, right? This is a combination of spices that is put together that gives the flavor of the michelada, and with the no tomato juice aspect, there's not that bloating. A lot of people are sensitive to tomatoes, as far as their stomach and gut health and things like that. So it's very interesting as far as uniqueness goes. I talked a little bit last week about, and this one's just worth repeating if you didn't hear the show last week, but regenerative organic products are so important right now, and it's just, you talk about trends, and you talk about, we hosted a pitch slam for Sprouts that was themed around regenerative organic products, and one of our newest clients is Star Walker, and they have regenerative organic products, and I'm going to try Star Walker Organic Farms is the website. But what's unique about them, and we and I don't know if I talked about it last week or not, because we did training and everything runs together for me, but they are the only regenerative organic beef producer farm in the entire world. And I'm sorry, that might be pork. I might see that this is where we get no script, no strat. Beef, I think, if I'm correct, it's pork. Pork is in the world, the only regenerative pork in the world, the only regenerative beef in the U.S. I think beef you can get elsewhere. but the only one in the U.S. Pork is the only one in the world. And just, I mean, when you talk about cutting edge and you talk about trends and you talk about exciting, so we're working on their beef jerky products right now, which will be, speaking of Sprouts, in the innovation table in October. But they just, it's not just beef jerky, it's grinds, it's pork, it's steaks, it's a number of things. So they're just really cutting edge as far as that goes and ahead of the curve. And I think we're going to be hearing a lot more about them, their products across the store in the fresh as well as packaged goods based on their commitment to sustainability, regenerative practices, and so on. So
cool.
Really big. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's good stuff. And I mean, that's why we were, late to starting the show, as we were like, oh shit, what the hell are we going to talk about? What are the brands? What are the stores? And Wade's like, yeah, we got this. Let's just wing it. And here we are. So no script, just chat. That's how we do it on the show. I mean, it's just boring when you know what you're doing. Let's not know what we're doing for this show. That's more fun because we look like asses and you guys laugh at us. So a brand that I think it's been around for a while. I don't know the details on it because I really did not drink milk for 25 or 30 years, but I discovered this brand, which is, hopefully I'm pronouncing it right, Alexandre Family Farms, regenerative organic certified milk. And they have 3 types. They have the red, the green, and I believe the blue. And then they have a half and half, which has a lot of cream in it. And the red is extra creamy. The green is kind of creamy. And then you have the red, which is more thin, kind of like a low fat milk. Not only phenomenal as far as taste, not only phenomenal for regenerative organic certified, but the fact that it doesn't upset my stomach for whatever reason, right? Because I have sensitive stomach, dairy, and I can drink a whole glass. I mean, the size of this, basically 10 ounces, 15 ounces, 16 ounces. And I can drink a whole thing without having any upset stomach because of how clean the milk is. And then I use their half and half, which has the organic milk plus the organic cream for, mud water, right? Or for tea or other stuff. So shout out to Alexandre Family Farms. And Wade, I'm going to have to also get you to talk to Luke that they are not, at least with their main line, they are not in Sprouts.
Wow.
They're in Whole Foods.
I would encourage them to talk to me and reach out, and as I would encourage anyone here to reach out if you'd like to have a conversation about how we might be able to help you. But yeah. That's surprising. I know, we definitely worked with them when I was at Jimbo's. Obviously, right in line with what Jimbo's is and who they, what they represent and the products that they carry. I know price points and obviously are somewhat sensitive, especially if you get outside Southern California, it becomes more of an issue as far as, you're in Southern California. I think you've come to appreciate those. You're going to pay more for pretty much everything. Yep. The question I have is distribution as far as it's perishable product, the price points and things like that. And I know there are some, Homestead 2, A2. The A2 is absolutely growing trend. I've talked to many people who say exactly what you said. What is sensitivity.
What is A2?
Let me Google that for you, Alex. It's based on the sensitivity. A2 is a variety of cow's milk that mostly lacks a form of something that got cut off here. Mostly lacks a form of proteins called A1. Instead, has mostly A2 form, which I think is that's where that sensitivity comes back. As far as your ability to handle it from a tummy standpoint. It's I can go in and read this whole background as far as what it is, but it's a different sort that will help if you're lactose intolerant as far as that goes. It's when I look at the numbers, they say that sales are expected to grow nearly 20% between 2022 and 2027, and I think a lot of that is based on what you talked about. So there are types of the beta casein, the protein that's in all the mammal milk. So.
Totally. And we're going to take a pause for our sponsors. But one other thing I'll mention here is that there was a big pendulum shift to kind of the plant-based, and it's still there, still alive and well, still growing. But a lot of people that were on plant-based almond milk, which are still great, and I still love it and buy it, oat milk, they're coming back to dairy. They're coming back to meat. And so it's an interesting trend heading back in that direction, because now there's, for dairy, and for meat, there's cleaner options than ever before, right? There's grass fed, free range, right, for eggs, pasture raised eggs. And then for milk, you have this regenerative organic certified, and it's processed in a way where it doesn't upset your stomach, right, digestively. So I think it's really cool to see that. And again, I tested it. I had a 28-ounce bottle of Alexandria. I mean, I chugged the shit out of it, and over an hour, and no issues at all. If anything, I felt better because of the good fats and how they don't strain everything out, right? It's creamy, it's thick. I loved it. So our sponsors, first off, we're going to bring up in about 5 minutes, hopefully less actually, because we're speeding through this. Robert Kogan with PFE, Powerful Energy Distribution. So get ready, Robert. You're up in a few. You're kicking back. I see you. So we're going to bring you on, and you can talk about all the action going on with PFE, your new brands, and also the Canadian Trade Show, which is happening, which is the CHFA. And he represents Purple Leaf Kombucha, Dope Coffee Company, Ground Up Eco Ventures, and many, many more. So, and as far as our ongoing sponsors, it's MyWay3PL, myway3pl.com/CPG Vibes, their logistics solutions. Seeing all the pain points that many CPG brands go through. If you're a small brand looking to scale, or a large brand wanting to get larger, they are so flexible. They are so nice. They will give you a tour of their facility. They will handle every customer. Kick gloves. They even let Wade in the door. I mean, I thought that guy was banned in 7 states, but they let him in the door.
That's not one of them. That's not one of them.
Okay. Yeah. Louisiana, right?
Yep. Well, the one that I visited, yes.
And that's not one of them.
Correct.
Okay. I don't want to know which ones it is. Maybe that's why you're no longer in California. Who knows?
Possibly.
We'll see. Possibly. Allegedly. And then we have Range Me. And by the way, myway3pl.com/CPG Vibes. Get your first pallet for free in the first month. Range Me, they have 15,000 buyers. If you don't take advantage of this and save 30% on their discounts, you need to grow your brand. You need to get in front of retailers. That's the lifeblood of your business, to grow your business and grow your sales. Make sure to sign up for Range Me. It's a no freaking brainer. I'm using freaking to emphasize it. rangeme.com/CPG Vibes. Go to the website, sign up, save 30%. Try their premium at $9.99. I'm sorry. Regularly, it's $13.99. You save $400 at $9.99, and their pro subscription is at $16.99 instead of $24.99. Talk about de-inflation, inflation buster, I call it. That's the Range Me deal. Rangeme.com/CPG Vibes. Okay, so I think it's Robert time. I think it's Robert Kogan time here. So we're going to be bringing on Robert Kogan, saying him a ton of times. Make sure you don't forget his name. And he's going to be giving out, by the way, 2 prizes at the end of this episode, so make sure to stay tuned. He's a gentleman that is representing this amazing horseshoe area that's in Toronto and the surrounding areas. So he is your man for Canada. He's representing brands such as Purple Leaf Kombucha, Dope Coffee Company, Ground Up Eco Ventures. He's going to be at the CHFA East Show, the Expo of Canada, September 21st and 22nd, launching these brands into the country. So let's bring him on now. And I'll do some good music here. Let's see. I'll do some night driving here. How about that? It's good music. Robert, how's it going, buddy?
How's everybody doing?
Hey, Robert.
Very, very good. All right. So you got some nature in the background. You're at home?
I'm in the northern homestead. It's an area called Midland, appropriately named. It's about midway between Toronto and the very, very dense cottage areas north of Toronto, Muskoka, Georgian Bay, Haliburton. So this is a shorter drive, like from here to the warehouse. A lot of people don't know this, but Toronto's pretty much like top 3-4 cities of the worst traffic jams on earth. And it's a good advantage to stay around the perimeter of the GTA and utilize the highway systems to get to the warehouse. We're in Oakville, which is in the western area of the GTA. So it's a common thing to avoid Toronto. I just got off the phone with one of the shipping guys. A truck had to redirect from Jersey to Brooklyn, extra $800 for the 30 minutes over the bridge. Unbelievable. So there's like an idea of how location is. But yeah, I'm up north right now, and it's back to school week, which means the traffic gets a little crazier.
Well, tell us. I want to zero in on exactly what areas of Canada that you cover, for brands. And I know we've said this on previous episodes, but we have a lot of new people on, a lot of brands on. What areas of Canada are you focusing on that you want to get in? And then what are some great retailers, some examples of great retailers where you can scale a brand, especially a brand that's in the US and they're looking to go across the border here?
Well, the first point that I want to emphasize is I really appreciate you adapting to the geography situation. So the Golden Horseshoe is specifically the Buffalo Fort Erie border around the western edge of Lake Ontario. And Niagara Falls is right up the road. And then you cruise around the western edge of Lake Ontario, and that's why they call it the Horseshoe. And you go through Hamilton, Ontario, and then you get into the western edge, Oakville, Mississauga, and then you're into Toronto. And then past Toronto east, there's still Oshawa, Pickering. That's the Golden Horseshoe. To answer your question about the locations and at the same time, the retailers, I can try to spin it into one thing and then just mention a few things about the brands, is there's independent retailers. So there's this big myth that, we've got to get bilingual label and go through all the rigmarole, which is hugely expensive for a new brand and absolutely not worth it. It's a shame when you see that happen. And then the brand gets guardrailed with 4 SKUs of the 12 that are in the city. And I'll segue right into the best retailers that we start with are a single shot retailer, the most expensive retailer in North America, called The Harvest Wagon. It's right in the middle of probably a few, when you refer to zip codes, mean household income, it's smack in the middle of 3 of, I'd say, the top 20, 25 in North America: Forest Hill, Rosedale, and Yorkville. The relationship with the Harvest Wagon is key, as Sean from Ground Up knows, Mark from Purple Leaf, and Mike and Stace from Dope Coffee, and other brands that I've worked with. We get instant shelf space, center cooler there. And then I'll jump over. There's a bunch more independents, but to be a little quicker, I want to go over to the top end of the spectrum. One of my favorite customers, and I wouldn't call it a secret because everybody knows about it in Toronto. It's called Nature's Emporium. They've got 5 locations. They're basically a Whole Foods, but they're a local Canadian company. They've been growing very well over the last decade. And and Vincenzo's, of course. Vincenzo's is in what we call the greater Golden Horseshoe area, like 100 miles outside that horseshoe. That's a 10 million population center. And Waterloo, which a lot of people might remember as the home of BlackBerry a decade or 2 ago, that's where Vincenzo's is. And Carmine and I have gone back about 15 years. He's the one that started getting me into trouble with bringing in all these products from the States. So we start with step 1. Now, when you go to step 2, Alex, that's where Eco Ideas Distribution and other distributors I work with come into play. Because what we're doing now with Purple Leaf Kombucha, Dope Coffee, and we're going to do Ontario with Ground Up, is we get instant presentation to all the major chains. So, and then I can go right into the CHFA show.
Please.
And have this being my 4th time, we come up to the 10 minutes real quick, like the extra time in soccer games. It's over in like a second, like a 4th quarter in the football game. So twisting everything together, Purple Leaf Kombucha is going to be in the Eco Ideas booth at the CHFA show. So we connected about 3-4 months ago. Mark, like Stace and Mike from Dope Coffee and Sean from Ground Up, I got to tell you, it's like getting through an obstacle course. And these guys have gotten through the obstacle course real quick, especially PLK Purple Leaf, which I will do the little demo here.
So what is Purple Leaf?
Yeah, I'm going to say that in a sec. But we are in the booth at Eco Ideas, and Mark and Kendra and their brand is going to be available at the CHFA show presented. Purple Leaf is kombucha with the purple leaf from Kenya. So when you pull up your phone and you do that search, you're going to come into GHG and you're going to say what I said. Oh, okay. It's a premium beverage. The cool thing about Purple Leaf is it's more than just, because every brand needs to have more than just, hi, we got a brand. There's a bit of a cultural approach to this. It's a premium beverage. The ingredients are expensive. That's why it goes $5.99 retail in Canada, $4.99 in some higher volume, like, Subway station, apartment building locations. and $6.99 at the premium locations. So, but the Purple Leaf in a quick second, the source of the tea leaves from Kenya is the key to the whole thing. What I do love about Mark is, you have your first emails. He sends over his tech data, 25 attachments, and that's what you want to see. A guy that sourced his product. He has perfected the brewing process. It's incredible. Now, Dope Coffee, while I'm rolling down the line here, it's a coffee brand, but that's just one of the spokes out of the hub of the Dope Coffee parent company. It's more of a cultural type of thing. Coffee is a CPG product that is doing incredibly well with its growth in the U.S. Harris Teeter, Lowe's in North and South Carolina. There's a Walmart placement coming up in March next year. And then Ground Up Eco Ventures. I love the way this one happened, because I basically called on and said, send over some boxes, I'll give you a ride. Meaning, like, we'll take you to Vincenzo's Harvest Wagon and we'll see what happens. It's a great example of organic spins. It just sold out from just going on the shelves. Nobody said a word about anything. Boom, reorders are in. I got 4 pallets in last week to the warehouse, and I'm spreading them out to all the customers. So I can ramble, Alex, so I want to stop and make sure I answered your question in a jumbled sort of way.
You did, Robert. I'm going to let Alex pitch in, but Robert, I sent you a note. There's something you wanted to make sure we got up in front of everybody. I put up Ground Up, I put up Purple Leaf Kombucha, I put up Real Dope, I put up CHFA. I want to make sure we got everything. I think there might have been one more that I didn't have a link for. If you can either put it in the chat there or let everyone know what that was, that would be great. But Alex, he nailed a lot there, right?
Yeah, I mean, you covered a tremendous amount of ground within 8.5, 9 minutes. So that's really impressive, because I would never be able to do that.
But I still didn't cover the CHFA show. And you know what? I'm not going to bother Wade to try to scramble and get that up. I'll just explain it.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
Grocery Business Magazine is the #1 grocery trade industry magazine. Jim Slomka has been an incredible friend and advisor, keeping me within the guardrails as best we can as I plow through this unregulated process. So we have a full page ad. It's our 3rd time doing it for the CHFA show. And I appreciate you, Wade, remembering that, because what that ad shows is, I call it the Grand Slam. It's got the top corner where I have my company, and then Eco Ideas right beside it. Eco Ideas is a very important part of the Canadian launch program. There's many distributors out there, but you need to have a great relationship with the owner, the management, where you can go in on the weekend and make sure the products are where they have to be to go out on Monday and not have to wait. That is very important. The bottom part has Purple Leaf Kombucha and then Vincenzo's, because I wanted to give a lot of love to Carmine and Tony, the owner of that store, because they've been with me since day one. So what that comes together, and then I'll bring up the CHFA show. For all of our viewers that aren't that familiar with Canada, the CHFA show is the monster, and that's the East in Toronto. In March, there's the Vancouver. But that is the monster event for the health and wellness category. And I think, there's so much information that we want to give out, and I want to make sure everyone knows. But the thing that I'd sort of like to, kneel with in the victory formation with it for this episode is, the team has come together. There's a bunch of other brands that we're talking to, and others that we're not talking to anymore for good reasons. But the way that that ad shows that the 4 corners come together is really good. And you see, there's still more to say. I'll say it in one sentence. PFE also does the other way, Canada into the US. And I want to also emphasize how important your podcast is. And I'm going to demonstrate it in a second. So Ground Up Eco Ventures has already been supplying Kyle and Matt from Brewers Foods. Brewers Foods is an upcycle flatbed cracker that a lot of people are familiar with on LinkedIn, because the guys are always making sure that we know about their progress through the New York market. There's a bulk product that other manufacturers are interested in. And you ready, Wade?
I'm ready.
I'd like to set up a meeting, please, because samples have already been sent to Sprouts.
All right. Let's
Okay.
do it.
And that
Let's
happened
do it.
organically with Sean. So the next
Love
step
it.
after we get all the kids back to school and get the show done in October, November is to try to build those bridges in the U.S.
Got it. That's really well said. So, and we're out of time here, and we're going to wrap up the show. But really important that you have a brand, right? And there's a lot of people, like myself in the past, running Genius Juice, where you're looking at, okay, we want to bring this into Canada, we want to bring this to another country. It could be a great market for this emerging, innovative brand. Robert's the man to do that. I know we ran out of time, but you're almost like you're a consultant at the same time. You consult brands.
Gateway. I'm using Gateway a lot.
Yeah, gateway consultant guy getting into Canada, whatever you want to call it. You know your stuff. You know how to get brands into Canada, and you know what it takes to stay in Canada and stay on not stay on the shelf, but get on the shelf and sell off the shelf. So for all that, he's the man. That's why he is the sponsor. There's really no other sponsors that do what he does because we feel that he's the best at it. So if someone wants to reach out to you, what is the best way? Just LinkedIn?
LinkedIn and my name, Robert Cogan. It brings up the LinkedIn. It brings up my phone number. Yeah, I'm open communication in every social media channel. And definitely not hard to find.
Awesome. Beautiful, buddy. Well,
Excellent.
Well said, well spoken. Good luck at the show in a couple weeks. Congrats on the new brands you're bringing on board. And again, please reach out to Robert for a consultation session on Canada and see if you're able to get into Canada through him.
Oh, and you'll be meeting Mark from Purple Leaf Kombucha next week. He's sponsoring the show next week.
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
Okay, great.
Love it.
Looking forward to it.
Great.
All right,
you guys.
Thanks again, Robert.
Thanks,
Have a
Robert.
good weekend.
Have a great weekend.
All right.
All right.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
He knows his stuff, and it just rolls off the tongue. He knows, and he's being pretty humble about his knowledge of Canada and his knowledge about how to get your brand in and consult also on the label, right? And making sure it looks good for Canada. And what's interesting is I didn't know that there's parts of Canada, Wade, where you don't need to have French writing on the label. And I think Toronto is one of those areas. So if, I believe you can have your American brand, you can leave the label almost the same. Again, it's parts of Canada that do not require bilingual labels. So I didn't know that until talking with Robert. We have a couple minutes here. We're going to end this episode a little early since I have a meeting coming up here. And Friday is not over yet until the fat lady sings. So with all that said, let's talk about the fun stores to shop at and why. Right? We can cover that maybe in a couple minutes.
Oh, I can nail the one that comes to my head, and this is me going back to my roots.
Sure.
Have you ever been to? I think you have. I think we talked about it before, maybe not. Jungle Gyms.
Jungle Gyms, is that Florida?
Ohio.
They should have known that because you're from Ohio.
It is truly an amusement park, grocery store. I mean, this thing. I won't do it justice by trying to guess the size. This thing is massive. Just massive. They have I don't even know how many feet of hot sauce. They probably have larger hot sauce section than most stores have cereal sections or maybe even chips. It's just absolutely insane. They have all these bells and whistles. They have theatrical components. They have unique bathrooms that you open it up, looks like you're going in a porta-john. It's amazing. Just go to their website, go to YouTube. There's people that have been in there, done videos. It truly, when I think of stores that are fun to shop, I mean, you could spend literally a whole day there. It's amazing. So it's and the volume they do is just out of this world. It's fantastic, truly unique.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm going to say there's two stores on my side that really stuck out to me. One is Lazy Acres, which is in Southern California. There's a lot of great retailers in SoCal, right, and beyond. There's Sprouts is SoCal and beyond. There's Jimbo's, which I love Jimbo's. I just wasn't in San Diego. Don't live in San Diego, so I couldn't really see their stores a lot. But as far as a neighborhood store, Lazy Acres to me is one of the strongest. It's shiny. It looks great. The way they present the store is awesome. Their produce is almost all organic, if not everything organic. Beautiful presentation. They have a great selection. They bring in local brands plus national brands, a nice mix. But the most impressive thing about Lazy Acres is their supplement section. And they have someone there that just like they know everything about all the supplements. You mention something, they know exactly where it is. They know the benefits to it, and they're extremely, extremely knowledgeable. And just a big shout out to Michael Gregory, and and Roger's at Bristol Farms, right, which owns Lazy Acres, and Roger Arachiga, who's been there for a while, is he's a pro there. And then Michael Gregory is also a pro who manages and oversees Lazy Acres in the buying division and purchasing division. And and Roger, they're both just the nicest human beings you'll ever meet, especially even at a buying table. They give you the time of day, they take the meetings with you, they listen to you, and they offer some great feedback. And even when, we shut down Genius Juice 6-7 months ago, right? Roger was extremely supportive. He sent me a really nice email saying, like, I'm sorry to see this. And I remember we were one of the first retailers in SoCal to bring in your coconut smoothies. Good luck on your next venture. So he takes the time with vendors. Let's see, another one I would say, like a local, I would say, I'm going to go to New York actually, is the Fairway markets. I go into New York and Fairway for whatever reason. I always like those stores, the double-decker stores. They're in the heart of New York. Another New York chain that I really like is West Side Market. Love West Side Market. I don't know if you've ever been to these stores, but they're kind of like bodegas. They have the fruit, on the front, the front of the store when you're walking in, and it's very tight in there, but it's just this classic bodega New York store. That's West Side Market. So, yep, those are mine.
I'll give one plug. I mentioned Jungle Gyms. I have a great link there that shows video as well as photo gallery. You can kind of look through there. But also, if I'm staying in Ohio, I would shout out my old company that I used to work for 20 years, and that's Buehler Foods, Buehlers.com. Headquartered in Worcester. I think they're 14 stores now, might be 15. But they one of the things that's unique about them is virtually every store, and they might be missing one or two, has a tote system that they have a front end that the cashiers ring your groceries up. Obviously, they have self-checkouts, but they have a personalized experience where you go through, the cashier will ring it up. They have baggers that'll bag your groceries and put them in these totes. They'll take the totes over to the conveyor system. The conveyor system takes them outside through the building, outside where there's more staff waiting outside to load the groceries into your car. So it's really personal. And it may sound, I can carry my own groceries out. Well, do that in Ohio when it's 0 degrees. You'll appreciate being able to get in your car, drive through, stay in your car, and let someone pop them in your trunk and you can drive away. It's really a personalized experience as far as touch and just a service aspect that you're not going to get at a Walmart or someplace like that. It's just really service oriented, and they do a great job across the entire store.
Yep. I also got a one up at one more that because I love their stores and love Kenny Hausman, is Fresh Time in Chicago, and and they're in different states, but the outskirts of Chicago. I went to a Fresh Time for the first time about 3.5 months ago, and just fell in love with what they offer. The staff is so nice. The store is not too big, not too small. It's just right. The Goldilocks and the Three Bears concept. And I was able to get in and out of there. First time shopping. It's interesting, Wade. First time shopping the store, and I had no trouble finding things. It was laid out intuitively. So, the produce is there. The drinks are there. The energy bars are there. The yogurt's there. It was all in the place they'd expect it to be, like the yogurt's in the back corner, right? With the milk and all that stuff. So Fresh Time just kicks ass on their store layout, on their selection, and obviously most important, the people, both at store level and at corporate, like Kenny Hausman. So love the store, love Kenny, love the staff. So it's good stuff.
Absolutely.
All right. So we're going to read our sponsors real quick, and then we're going to adjourn for the weekend. So we have our ongoing sponsors, which is MyWay3PL, myway3pl.com/CPG Vibes. And they are logistics solutions born from the pain points that they saw CPG brands going through with other logistics providers. They have proven results and a solid foundation with cost savings and operational enhancement. They offer true balance of both strategy and execution. Partner with MyWay3PL, myway3pl.com/CPG Vibes. Then the other one is Range Me. They have over 15,000 buyers. And one thing I forgot to say, Wade, is there's a little QR code over there. It's like, remember like the YouTube videos at the end? It's like, to subscribe, click there. To watch another
Right.
video, click there. Same thing here. Click in the bottom right corner to go directly to the landing page, the partnership page with Range Me and CPG Vibes. They work with retailers such as Target, Albertsons, Whole Foods, Sprouts, Publix, Kroger, Costco, Wegmans, H-E-B, Food Line, Giant Foods, Fresh Market, and Fresh Time, and many, many, many more. And they have a ECRM category sessions, which is live. Joe Tarnowski heads that up. In-person events where you can meet directly with leading national and regional retail buyers for curated face-to-face meetings. Ready to elevate your brand? Visit rangeme.com/CPG Vibes to explore membership options and save up to 30%. And then last but certainly not least is our weekly sponsor here. He's sponsoring this episode and next week's episode. And that is Powerful Energy Distribution with Robert Kogan. Make sure if you're in Canada, or even if you're not in Canada, you're in the US, go to the CHFA East Show, the Expo of Canada, September 21st, 22nd. He's debuting 3 brands that have joined him: Dope Coffee Company, Purple Leaf Kombucha, and Ground Up Eco Ventures. That's Robert Kogan. You can find him on LinkedIn, Cogan, first name Robert, and reach out to him if you want to get your product into Canada.
And speaking of which, Alex, that's the giveaway is, because I know we got to get through this quick because we're out of time, is from Ground Up. And I'm trying to look at the notes here, Alex. You got a sample case of Ground Up baking mix and flour. So I'm going to put the link up in here. I've got a question that I can make pretty simple because I know we're short on time, but if you've got one that you want to do, I'm fine with that too. What do you think?
What city am I in? Because I'm not in the normal city where I live. I'm traveling a little bit. It's still within California, but what city am I in right now?
All right. Well, we're waiting for that, Alex. I think memory is that you told us last week we had somebody joining us next week. Who's that?
Just a typical everyday guy. Is co-founder of Netflix. Co-founder of Netflix. So that's going to be Mark Randolph. It's sponsored again by Robert Kogan and PFE, but special guest Mark Randolph, who is the co-founder of what we know and love now as Netflix, and he's going to be sharing his experience and advice on running a brand, right, and how to build a company, and we get to know him more as well, right? So the man behind Netflix. So there's the answer. I think Hugh won. He won last week too, right? And so was it. That's the answer. So 2 weeks in a row, Hugh, you know how to get that prize. Just reach out to cpgvibes100@gmail.com. What else, Alex? I think that is it. Make sure to give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. Make sure to go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@CPG Vibes. We're going to have a contest. So look out for that on Monday to win a spot to be a featured guest on one of our future episodes before the end of the year. And all you have to do is give us 5 stars. So we're going to post that. If you post a screenshot on the thread in LinkedIn, you'll be entered into the contest to win a spot to be a guest on our show. So look out for that.
Good stuff.
All right. Well, Wade, love you, buddy. Have a wonderful weekend. Everybody in LA, everybody in these kind of heat advisory areas in the country, stay cool out there. Drink plenty of water or Lemon Perfect or whatever product you want. Drink plenty of Purple Leaf Kombucha if you're in Canada, and stay hydrated. And we'll see you next week, same place, same time. Bye, everyone.